Why do you pursue greatness? Why do you pursue something more? What inspires you to be great? These questions are important, but they're also easy, and at the end of the day, they don't cause much change. They don't change your perspective because you already know them. You already know the reason why you want to wake up. You already know the reason why you want to work hard. The important questions that can change your perspective and help you move forward are the ones that you don't want to ask yourself. And a lot of times they tend to be, what is holding me back? Who are the people in my life that don't want the best for me? What habits am I using to procrastinate? Which habits are degrading my health, degrading my physical and mental health? Which of these habits are preventing me from working harder, from making more money? A lot of times, the most productive question isn't the one that we tend to focus on. Like, yeah, hey, we want to hear why this person wanted to be great, why this person pursued greatness. And that's because it's a pretty answer. Because everyone wants to hear about the person that, they just always knew that they were going to be the hero. They always knew that they were going to create a revolutionary invention. Because it's romantic. It's inspiring. It makes you think, what if I were him? What if I were in his shoes? That could be me. I think about these things. I think that I could create something amazing. But a lot of the times, the questions that really matter is, what did you realize that you needed to get over to move forward? What was holding you back? And the reason that these questions are important is because it's not just a dream. It's not just thinking about something far off in the distance that you want to get to or that you're dreaming of getting to. These questions and the answers to them are things that you are actively living through. They are the things that you are currently doing that are preventing the growth that you want to get to that thing in the distance. So next time you think about where you want to be, your goals, your dreams, the things that influence you and inspire you, and where you want to be in whatever 5 or 10 years, also ask yourself, not why do I want that? Ask yourself, what am I doing that is preventing me from getting there? What habits can I shift? What changes in my diet, in my daily routines, can I get rid of? Can I clear up? Can I make a little bit better so that it will make it more likely for me to get there? And I think that this even goes into how sometimes when we're pursuing a goal, when we're pursuing a passion, a dream, we think about how hard it's going to be to get there. And we think about it purely on the surface level of, man, that's going to take a lot of work. And a lot of the times, part of the reason why it's so hard is because there's so much friction preventing you from moving forward because you haven't set your life up in the best way possible to move forward. You haven't gotten rid of the negative traits and negative habits, all the amount of times that you procrastinate. You haven't begun to monitor and regulate your emotions. You aren't confident in yourself. You don't know how to talk to other people. You don't know how to convey your feelings, your thoughts, your ideas. And this can all be, factors and variables that just add a little bit more friction pushing against you preventing you from moving forward as fast as you could. And part of, some of those negative traits that you can get rid of is literally thinking about how hard it is. Because thinking about how hard it is makes it harder than it ever actually is. Because you start dwelling on it. You start realizing, man, I've been working on this project for the last 2 months and I haven't made money and I don't have any clients yet. You start thinking, man, I've been working out in the gym for 2 years and I don't have the physique that I want. Or you start a meal prep and you start doing that for, let's just say, a month, and you realize, fuck, I'm going to have to do this for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years. I'm going to have to eat well. I'm going to have to be on this diet. And you start thinking about how hard it is. That's honestly a bigger battle than actually doing the thing, is just getting so mentally distraught about it that, man, this is difficult, this is hard, and you just keep ruminating in it over and over. So realize that a lot of times we have these, mental blocks, physical blocks. We have people in our life that maybe aren't helping us to move forward. And by the way, this is not an excuse to blame it on other people. Never blame anything on other people in terms of you being successful. Don't blame the woes of your life on other people, because then you're just dependent on other people. You're letting other people determine your life. So, but that doesn't mean that the people in your life don't play a role and that they aren't negatively affecting you, if that makes sense. Like, you could, but what I'm saying is you could do something about that. So you can have all these different things that are just pushing against you a little bit, and getting rid of them will decrease that friction and make the path forward a little bit smoother. It's never going to be easy. The path is going to change a lot. It's going to get bumpy. You're going to stumble. You're going to fall. You're going to get hurt. You're going to make mistakes a lot. But getting rid of the things that are making your journey, making your path more difficult, will obviously make it better. And I've talked about this before, but if you have this big goal, you have this big dream that you want to put your all to, you need to make sacrifices. And if you're trying to be a professional athlete, yes, some professional athletes can get their drinking, can get their partying every weekend. If you want to be great, though, you likely can't go out and drink. You likely have to stay in. You have to recover. You have to be ready to practice the next day. No matter how social you are, no matter how much you like to party a little bit, the best thing for your dream, for your goal, would be to sacrifice that portion of your life. And this isn't even just talking about vices. This is purely stating that there are things in your life, both, that are maybe good and maybe in no way harming you as a person, harming your health or anything. But they're harming the potential of achieving your primary goal. So, don't ask yourself, why do I want to get here? Why do I want this greatness? What inspires me? What steps do I have to take to achieve this? Well, actually, ask yourself those things. Sorry. Ask yourself, too, though, what things are you ignoring that are impacting you? I apologize for that. That was a little confusing. Ask yourself what things you're ignoring, which things you're continuing to allow to persist in your life that are causing unnecessary friction and pushback against you achieving your primary goals and dreams. And I just hit on this, talking about how other people can play a role on you pursuing dreams, pursuing your goals. And I've had a bit of, I guess, conflict personally about this. And it's that you really can't expect other people to understand you when you're pursuing greatness, when you're pursuing something different, something unconventional. Because they just won't understand. Even the people that were entrepreneurs, that, did take risks, that became successful by being unconventional, they're not going to have your exact perspective. You're going to have different problems. You're going to have different benefits going for you. There's a whole host of things that nobody except for you will understand. Even the people that you're the closest with, that have been with you the longest. Even the person that is your co-founder, even your wife, even your husband, whoever, your mom, dad, the people that you confide in the most won't ever fully understand because they don't have your brain. They didn't have your childhood. They didn't have to go through every single one of these problems like you did. And no matter how much you explain away, even if they agree and understand to some level, there will still be slight differences in the overall perspective. So it's hard. It's really hard, especially, if you're a young person like me. I mean, I completely get it. That is trying to do something different, is taking a big risk. And we're inviting the possibility of failure, of humiliation. We're inviting stress that other people are experiencing, but in a different way. We're just doing something outside of the norm. We don't have the time to spend, every weekend with friends. We don't have the money to do it neither. They're all out drinking every weekend. They're all out partying. Well, you just had to spend, $3,000 this month on trying to expand your business, on working on this software startup, on advertising for your Shopify store. And you kind of become an outsider. They slowly stop asking if you want to go out. They don't understand why you don't like drinking as much. They don't understand why you can't go out and drink. They think that maybe you think that you're better than them because you're doing these other things. And, maybe they even poke fun at you, about how you're trying to do something different. And that's okay. Because everybody is on a different path. And it's hard. But you need to understand that people not understanding, people making fun of you, people talking a little bit of shit and arguing with you about what you're doing, about your life, it's a sign that you're going in the right direction. Because if they did understand you, if they fully got your perspective and agreed with you, and they're not doing any of the things that you want to be doing, they're not going in the direction that you want to go at all, then you're probably not doing the right things. And this isn't a call to get rid of friends or to cut people off. But I've heard Andrew Huberman say this too. Sometimes you need to go off on your own and explore, learn new things, find yourself a little bit more, and then return months later, years later, and show the people that were your friends, family, that you spent a lot of time with, the things that you've learned, that you've gained on this path. And it's bittersweet. It is hard to feel excluded from the friend group, to feel misunderstood by your family and friends. But that's just when you need to ask yourself, is my exclusion from this friend group, is their misunderstanding of me more important than me achieving my goals, than me pursuing the path that I want to be on? And I could tell you it's not. Because people come in and out of your life. You're not in control of them. They're going to have families one day. They're going to have, maybe they already do. They're going to slowly stop coming around. They're going to be getting a little bit older, taking on more responsibilities. And, they have their own goals. They're going to move across the country. They're going to move to a different country. They're going to stop working out and become a person that you don't recognize as much anymore. These are things that are outside of your control. And unfortunately, a lot of the time when friends start breaking away from us, from my own experiences and from what I've seen other people go through, friendships tend to break up not because someone's pushing for a higher position. They tend to break up because someone fell back and you don't agree with them anymore. And they've become this woe is me mentality. They don't work out, they don't eat right, they drink all the time, they don't pursue anything, and they blame other people. And that's just not the person that you want to be around, because that's not the person that you came to be friends with. And so relationships, like, if they are maintained, that is great. That is awesome. Obviously, if those people matter to you, always try to go out and, stay in touch. Continue the relationship. But if they are going to not be your friend, they are not going to want to, talk to you years later because you were committed to achieving your goals, then that person isn't your friend. Because a good friend is a friend that understands where sacrifices need to be made. A good friend understands that this guy is trying to achieve something. He is pursuing what he wants in life. He is pursuing what he thinks is right. And if he doesn't have the time or money to, hang out all the time, that's fine. And even if it doesn't work out, I'm not going to give the guy shit because he was trying. That's the type of friend that you need. That's the type of friend that you should want to be. And that's the type of friend that you need for yourself. And obviously though, it's hard in the meantime, but just know you will regret not pursuing your goals and dreams if you purely do it because you're afraid of what other people are going to think. So don't expect to be understood. Don't expect that other people are going to share your perspective. You want something different, and that's okay. Seek understanding where you can, but no one's ever going to fully understand. Understand that. And this kind of goes along with my next point too, is so many people give up at this point where they're working really hard. But now they're getting pushback from the people around them because they're not seeing them anymore, just like what we were just talking about. And it makes them want to quit. It makes them think, man, this isn't worth it. They're right. It's not going to work out. This is a stupid plan. I should have never tried. I shouldn't have put my money in. I shouldn't have wasted all this time. Now isn't the time to doubt yourself. Now is not the time for doubts. When you hear that voice inside your head telling you that you're wrong, telling you that you need to quit, and it's all of a sudden going around with all these other negative ideas that, man, I'm losing my friends, my mom doesn't understand, my girlfriend doesn't understand, man, I'm not making money, this looks stupid, I'm on social media looking like a fool, I should just quit. Those other negative things are exactly what you have to drown out and ignore. When you're seeing all these negative signs and you suddenly start wanting to quit, stop. Your mind is getting the better of you right now. And now is not the time to doubt. Don't count the cards. Don't look at how much money you've put in. You keep going. To get somewhere, you almost need to be a fucking fool. You need to be so sure that you are going in the correct direction, to the point where it is ridiculous to other people. And that's also why other people won't understand. Because you need to have faith in yourself. And you cannot let your mind, you can't be an enemy to yourself. Don't drag yourself down. I know that we tend to think your problems, the reason why you suck in life, the reason why things are going bad, are because of other people. The enemy isn't other people. The enemy is you. 99.9% of the problems that we face in life, we are the culprit. We are the one that caused them. We're the ones that walked us into that position step by step by step. So, when you start doubting yourself, when you start getting all these negative thoughts and you want to quit, don't do that. Don't be your own worst enemy. You need to push yourself forward. You need to tell yourself, this is hard. This might take years. This might take a decade. This might take 2 decades. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep fucking trying. Because I know that I can get there. I don't know how long it's going to take. But I know that if I work, and if I keep learning, and I apply what I've learned, I'm going to get somewhere. And I'm going to slowly, step by step, get to my goals. Don't count the chips. Don't count the cards. Don't look at how much you've lost. If you were going to quit, you should have never started. This isn't a 1-month journey. The real goals and dreams that you have in your life take years. They take a long time. And I know that's hard to think about. I know that's scary. It's not a rewarding journey. 90% of it is going to be without reward. But it is worth it. Every goal and dream that you have, that are the big ones, take years. The family that you want to have children, that takes years. You want to get married, that takes years. You want to be healthy your entire life, that takes years. The things that are most worthwhile take a long time. So, and they take sacrifice, and they take risk. It's risky to give your heart to someone. It's risky to bring a child into this world. You don't know if you're going to lose all your money. You don't know what's going to happen. They might have genetic issues. It is risky. Everything that you have ever dreamed of, the big dreams, the most important ones in your life, take years to get and involve a lot of risk. But you don't even think about it that much. The people that really want to be parents, that really want to be happy, great families, it crosses their mind every now and then. Like before they become parents. My kid could have this disability. My kid could encounter this. I could lose all my money. We could go broke. We could starve. We could be homeless. But it doesn't stop them. Because that end goal is worth the risk. Because what do you have without it? Without that family, without that child, without that wife, without the place that you call home, what is it all worth? There is going to be risk for the best things in your life. There's going to be a lot of time that you need to spend on it. And you can't give into that doubt. You can't let it drag you down that, man, I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to be a good man. I'm never going to be a good father. I'm going to be a shitty father, and I'm going to be broke, and I'm going to be homeless, and it's all going to go to hell. Man, I just shouldn't be any of these things. I should just be by myself because I'm a loser. You can't think like that. And you can't think about that like with your other goals as well. If you want to start a business, if you want to get in shape, you can't start counting the cards. You can't start thinking about how long it's going to take. You can't let all of the outside noise get to you and start bringing you down to the point where you want to quit. You need to be your biggest fan. You need to be your biggest supporter. You need to give yourself that push that you can do this. That everything that you want in life, you can achieve, that you can have. And you can. You don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know what you're going to have to go through to get there. You don't know every mistake that you're going to make. But if you just keep going, you will get there. Because you know that you have it within you to learn, to grow, to keep doing things a little bit better, and to stick with it. To be a little braver than you were yesterday. To push a little bit harder. To go a little bit further and a little bit longer. You know that you have that in you. So keep pushing yourself. Keep going. Don't quit now. Don't ever quit. You keep going. And you can do it.